Do a sound check. Oh, wait.
Hands to set the main. Oh. Okay.
She's gonna have you.
Okay. Eric, do you hear that? We're hands to set the main right now.
I can't hear him respond.
What is the name?
Can you yell at your phone?
Yeah, I'm just about to go to you to do the intro.
I have a question. How do you secure this so it doesn't go forward?
What you do
Okay,
is
Marilia,
you
we are
tight as
live.
possible with this loose.
Oh, wait, let me just turn it.
Kat and Marilia, you are live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the beautiful Hudson Highlands. We're getting ready to set sail. I'm Marilia. I'll be kind of like the MC for the boat, but you're going to see a lot of different crew faces. Right now, we're getting ready. We're about to raise the sail. So we just got the command, hands to set the main. So we're going to raise the sail, and then I can talk a little bit more about what we're doing, but we're going to jump right into it. So we're going to hand the camera off, and we're going to get ready to set the main.
And there you see the boat lining up to haul on the main. Marilia, can you all unmute yourselves so that your video stays on? Thank you.
Oh, well, little bit of muscle wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of muscle wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of muscle wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. And we'll hang on behind. Oh, well, little bit of wind wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of wind wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of wind wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. And we'll all hang on behind. Oh, well, a little bit of water wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of water wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of water wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. And we'll all hang on behind. Makes a big difference. And it's Maya.
And it's Maya.
All right, on the first 2 steps forward.
2 steps forward.
Drop the line.
Big shot.
Ready, pink? Ready, pink? Ready, pink?
Away.
A little bit of carbs wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of carbs wouldn't do us any harm. A little bit of carbs wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll. Chariot along, we'll roll. Chariot along, we'll roll. Chariot along. All right, let's do a couple big 260s on your
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Okay, I'm really tired. So we are here in the Hudson Highlands. This this is part of our River Connects Us journey, where we've been sailing from Albany, and our main destination is New York City. So right now we just left Beacon and we're sailing to Cold Spring. So along the way, we're going to see Palapel Island with Bannerman's Castle on it, which you're going to hear a little bit about from Liam. You're going to hear a little bit about Storm King, Mountain. And yeah, so we just hauled up the main and the jib. Austin, stop laughing at me. So during the main, you might have heard my voice and everyone else's voice doing the shanty. We do a sea shanty, so we can all haul in the same rhythm. So I'm watching what we call our number one, who's hauling down, and I'm going with the pace of their hands to make sure we're all working together. Because if one person's pulling and then the other person's pulling at a different time and another person's pulling at a different time, there's no way we're gonna get this sail up. Our sail weighs 3,000 pounds. And normally we have like 40 fourth grade kids helping us haul up the sail. But with all this craziness going on, we can't take passengers, of course. We have some guests today, Captain Nick's kids. Ace, you want to be in the video? This is Ace. She's one of our captain's great kids, and she's so cool. So they helped us today, but they're not normally on board to help us out. But were you hauling? You were hauling with us, right? Yeah, super strong. So it's going to be really a great program today, and we're really excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. You'll see me a lot. You'll see our other crew members and people on shore support helping us out throughout this public sail. So yeah.
Hey everybody, I don't know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up here if you can hear me. All right, beautiful. So I'm here at Little Stony Point, looking out at the massive and beautiful Hudson River. Check it out, this view from shore. We got a lot of people out here enjoying it as well. Let's say hooray for phase 4. And phase 3, I suppose, sorry. So we're looking across there at Storm King. I don't know if you can see the Clearwater off in the distance there, but they're gonna be sailing down. So really excited to be here. I just had an interview with Tom Lake. He's a DEC naturalist, and he was talking about American Indians, indigenous peoples in this area, and it was just fascinating what he was able to show us. He had to go, unfortunately, so we're here. We can talk about lots of different things, but there have been people living here for over 10,000 years. Tom Lake was telling me that before 15,000 years ago, this area was covered in a mile of ice. So you can look across at Storm King there, and there's no way that that's even a mile high, right? All right, so I would say those clouds, I don't know if I'm showing any clouds there. I'd say those clouds are probably about 10,000 feet. So that's about 2 miles up. So half the distance between here and those clouds was covered in ice during the Ice Age. And then about 12,000 years ago, that started to recede and people started to come. All right, so we've seen evidence of human habitation in the Hudson Valley for over 10,000 years. And Tom Lake had some amazing artifacts. Unfortunately, they belong to the state, so he wasn't able to leave them. But he found a net sinker, all right? Seining, fishing with a net, that happened all over the valley since time immemorial. And he brought this cool little net sinker down. And if you go on any sort of beach that hasn't really been, overworked by human influence, modern human influence, you can maybe find some of these net sinkers. And they're basically just a round sandstone, and then they have a little chip around them, just a little waist where they could get some cordage around it to make these seine nets sink. All right, so they would be used on the bottom of the net, and they would use like a gourd or a squash or a pumpkin on the top to keep the net floating. And Tom was saying that these net sinkers are really common because they were so heavy. The American Indians didn't want to carry them. And you can hear we got a lot of awesome swimmers out here today. So I apologize if there's any other noise going on. But those net sinkers, those net sinkers were disposable, right? They had a stone adze made out of basalt, and they would just chip away at these round beach stones that they would find and just make new net sinkers every time they went to a new beach. So keep your eyes out for the net sinkers. We got a big ship coming up here. We got a bunch of swimmers right here. Not sure what else you want me to talk about, Eric.
That's great, Eli. I think we'll head back to the boat and hear a little bit about how things are going on board, where they're sailing right now, and then maybe check out some more scenery in a bit.
Okay, just give me instructions. I'm standing by.
All right, great. Thanks, Eli. So heading on to the boat, Marilia. You got us? You are.
Great. So here we are. We're sailing. The engine is off, which is really great. We're going to check back with the captain and see what our sailing conditions are like. So, Captain Amy, do you want to talk a little bit about what sailing is like right now?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome aboard. We're sailing right here, right next to Storm King, so the wind's a little bit shifty. It was predicted to be out of the west, but after we set sails, it was looping around the mountain out of the north a bit, so we were able to sail downwind as we head south, and now it's coming through this other valley of the mountain, putting me more close hauled. The river's ebbing right now, so it's pushing us south, and it's going to switch to slack pretty quickly at 7. That's not true. It's flooding right now, and it's going to switch to slack and then start ebbing. There's pretty light winds. It's not very much as predicted, 5 to 10 knots. It's probably closer to 5 at the moment, but we'll probably get some gusts as we go to the Highlands here. It's always fun sailing around in a narrow river with tall mountains to the west and the east. Any other questions?
So next we're going to head up onto Storm King Mountain with Aaron Macharoli, Clearwater's operations manager. Aaron, can you unmute and we'll pin your video?
Hey everybody, this is Aaron. We have a special guest. Steve Stan showed up, our board president.
Hello everybody.
We're just up here on Route 218 in between Cornwall and West Point, locally known as High Point. And it's an incredible shot of the sloop right now, the way the sun is hitting the sails. It's everything I hoped this moment would be. Straight across is Breakneck Ridge. That's where Matt is. You're going to check in with him in a little while. And further south is where Eli is, you heard from before. Pretty big yacht coming up. Getting ready to do a drive-by the sloop.
That's a beautiful shot, Aaron. Does Steve want to say anything while y'all are up there? I'll put him on the spot.
Oh, well, sure. I'll say hi to everybody out there. Glad you're watching. It is a beautiful night up here on Storm King Mountain. We're looking out at the northern gate of the Highlands, one of the most scenic pieces of the Hudson River, and one that figured in America's environmental history. The battle over Storm King Mountain, on which Aaron and I are standing, was one of the cornerstones of the environmental movement. It helped to establish the National Environmental Policy Act, requiring the filing of environmental impact statements, had to look at what we're going to do to the environment before we tore it all up. And this mountain is preserved because of that.
Thank you so much, Steve and Aaron. That's such a beautiful shot. In just a second, we're gonna go back down onto the deck of the sloop, and they'll talk to us a little bit more about the geography right here, the start of the Highlands. But let's just savor that view for a few more moments.
10. Just everyone remember. Black is the wind.
Yeah.
It's down below.
What? Liam is down below.
I haven't wrote down, so I forget. And then you were lifting the thing up right before I went to look at it. Just always. Oh, yeah.
I got some help from that mommy.
There's two women.
Okay. Yes, no, I remember. I just. Okay, great. Hello. Am I on live right now? Cool. Okay. Hi, my name is Liam. If you've been watching a lot of the content that we've been putting out, you've probably seen me repairing something or tying something up on the bosun, which means I'm in charge of the rig. But right now I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about Palo Island, which we passed a little while ago. Over there in the distance. And also just about the Highlands in general. The Highlands is definitely one of the most dramatic parts of the river. You can see looking around, you've got Storm King, you've got Breakneck Ridge, you've got the Crow's Nest. You've got all of these different fantastic hills here, and we'll probably be talking about this area a lot as we go through it because we're going to be here for a couple of days. And it's one of the most dramatic, at least visually dramatic parts of the river. But just a little bit about Palo. So the name which I'm using is Dutch. My understanding is that the Dutch tended to come up with these sort of interesting names, which were called double Dutch, which they had a meaning in Dutch, but they also sounded like what the Dutch thought the Native Americans of this area referred to the features that they were naming. So Palo in Dutch means drinking ladle or pot ladle, but it supposedly sounded like whatever the Native Americans called it. The only name that I've heard for it in Muncie, which is the Native American language here, is Manatus, which doesn't sound anything like Palo. So I don't know where they got that, but who knows? White people have a bad track record for knowing native place names. But in any case, it's called Palo supposedly because this would be the point around where the salt wedge tends to hang out. If you're watching some of our educational videos, you'll know about the salt wedge. It's the sort of the front where the river, the surface water of the river stops being brackish and more influenced by the sea and starts being more fresh. So this drinking ladle in the name Palo is referring to the idea that once you got to this point in the river, you could dip drinking ladle into the river and drink it, which obviously is important to you if you're a sailor and you've been you come from the Netherlands or wherever you've come from and you're going up the river. Or if you're just a sloop captain who's going back and forth and you need to provision and get some drinking water. So that's the origin of that name. In reality, the salt wedge switches around. It can be north of Palo. Right now it's south. But oftentimes it'll be around here, and that's part of the origin of the name. You might have heard the place called Bannerman's. Walk this way slowly. You may have heard it called Bannerman's. And that name comes from a man whose last name is Bannerman. train. Can't hear anything because there's a train. Yeah, there's a train track over there. No one knew. It's the freight line. Bannerman was a Scottish man who came to the States. When he was very young. He acquired the island in 1900 and built a extensive Scottish-style castle, which he used as a residence and also as storage for armaments. He was an arms dealer. He sold and purchased weapons from the United States, from Canada. He was very active during World War I. But in any case, that's why people tend to call it Bannerman's Castle or Bannerman's Island. The castle burned down in 1969, same year that the sloop got put in the water. Coincidentally, entirely a coincidence. Hence the name. I tend to call it Palapel because that's what the sailors who sail these kinds of boats call it. But you'll generally hear it called Bannerman's, and if you ever want to go there, you can look up Bannerman Island Tours. They run a tour boat. The island now belongs to, I think, the Highlands Trust, which is a conservation organization that works for the state. Don't quote me on that. It might belong to the state. But yeah, that's the idea. Obviously, they're not doing tours right now for the same reason that you are interacting with me through this smartphone and not on the boat. But once the time comes, you can come out sailing with us and you can see the island from the deck of the sloop, or you can go out on a tour and take a look at the ruined castle. Yeah, so Palbo, another interesting thing about it, which we'll be talking about more as we keep going through the Highlands, is the northernmost limit of a supernatural being or beings known as the Dunderbird Goblin or goblins, which we'll talk about more. And this particular part of the river has a lot of rough and strange weather. You might have heard Captain Amy talking about that earlier. It has to do with the shapes of the hills, Storm King in particular, and how it funnels winds and can have a very strong effect on the weather here. I myself have been sailing on this boat. We've been over there just north of Storm King. Great day, wonderful day. We come down around Storm King. Probably there was a train going by making a horrible squealing noise like there is right now, but maybe there wasn't. And suddenly there was just like a squall coming down out of this valley, which you can see over on the west side. It's underneath the boom right now, which the Dutch sailors called the Dunderbarak, which means the thunder chamber, from which issued freight train's really making a horrible noise. I hope that everyone who's listening to this cannot hear that noise. Must have its brakes on or something.
Yeah, we're good. You're good.
Great.
You're good.
Okay. But yeah, so that's the interesting part. And this whole part of the river is known as the Windgate or the Wargut, because of those strange features of the way. Yeah. Hope I didn't talk to you fast. Thanks. See you later.
Thanks, Liam. So right now we're actually super fun. We're getting ready to set the topsail. So when the conditions are just right, we can set our third sail called the topsail. So if we want to come like this, because it's not a sail that normally goes up, right? We already have the main up, we have the jib up. So those are already connected to all the lines, but we typically store the topsail because we don't put it up all the time. But we're putting it up today, and it's great because our topsail has our signature Sunburst logo on it, and it helps us catch more wind. So right now they're just getting ready to set the topsail. So we can just watch that happen. There are a few lines that have to go through a few clues or holes. So there's a knock and there's, I can't remember any of the other ones right now, which is great. Anna's got him. Anna has the halyard. Austin has the sheet. Brad has a knock. And we're getting to the tack. The tack's down here. The tack. And we're attached. Yeah, the tack is attached, and we're getting ready. We're putting the sheet in. Yeah, so we're doing this. Oh, it looks good already. So Liam, that's the anchor bend, right, Liam?
Yes, I'm tying an anchor bend.
So Liam is tying an anchor bend.
So if you know how to tie a round turn, 2 half hitches, tie a round turn, then round turn meaning go around twice. And then you tie, it's called a half hitch. Unlike round turn, 2 half hitches, you put the half hitch through your round turn. It makes a very secure knot. When you pull on this end, it makes it tighter. So it tends not to come untied.
which is important. It's really important to not untie it because I'm ready.
Ready? Yeah. I think I'm ready.
Let's do it. Topsail up. Topsail up. Hold. Hold. Yeah, we need these away. Oh, now we're good. Well, nope, that needs to be laid better. Yeah, it needs to be like the head down. Lower way. Twist in the nose. So because we don't set the topsail all the time, sometimes things happen, and we try to stow it in such a way. That like we can just furl it, I should say, so that we can just attach everything and it can just go straight up. But you know, even bringing it up and down the companionway, up and down the ladder, it can get like kind of twisted in there. So sometimes we need to like go up a little bit and then realize something's not great and then bring it back down. So hopefully it works out. Nick, what's a question? What? At what point do I have hold the halyard right at the tip of the gap? The throat. Keep going, halyard. Keep going, halyard. Keep going, hold the halyard. Hold the you just left you. See, that's what you did to him. You can go back. Pick up on the knot. Pick up on the knot and make it up. Hold the sheet.
So Marilia, I think we can head up to Breakneck Ridge for a bit and check back in with y'all in just a sec.
We're gonna need a different lead on this. You can take it off the bottom, put it around the forward edge of the pin on the bottom first. And then put a C turn around. Now you have, okay. Easy. Take this up, Brad. I'm gonna sweat. Yeah, use the sheet a little more. You're fine. I'm good. We're gonna walk soon. Make it there, Brad. All right, hold the sheet. Oh yeah, always. And take this halyard a little. You know the knot? Yeah. What was that? What's that? Yeah, sweat that cheek.
So Marilia, while y'all are working on the topsail, let's head up and get a nice view from Breakneck Ridge, and we're going to check in with Matt Decker, who's been a volunteer with us in the past. Matt, can you unmute your audio, and I'm going to pin your video. All right, we can hear you, Matt.
Hey everybody, it's Matt up on Breakneck. Great view from up here, as always. And there's the Clearwater. And I can see the topsail going up. There's Little Stony Point, where you heard from Eli on the shores down there. There is Storm King, where you heard from Aaron. And I'm at one of the best views in the Hudson Valley, and I'm just below the flagpole at Breakneck Ridge. And I love seeing the Clearwater from any perspective. I'm always looking for it. I am lucky enough to get to cross this river almost every day. And it's a common occurrence to be able to see the Clearwater. But it's always special when you see it. And I love to see if they have the topsail up. I love to see what flags they're flying that day over the boat. And it makes me think of the time that I was lucky enough to volunteer on the boat with the Young Men at the Helm program. To see these young men come onto the boat, some of them coming onto a sailboat for the first time, and in 3 days being able to learn everything there is to know to be able to sail the boat themselves from the crew, and to have, you know, everybody who steps aboard the Clearwater get such a unique perspective of this river. It's just something I think about every time I see the boat, and every time I see the river. You know, this river deserves to have a boat like Clearwater on it.
Thanks so much, Matt. That's a really beautiful view from up there. I think our board president Steve Stan over on Storm King wanted to say a few things. So we're gonna head back over to Storm King for a minute, and stay up there as long as you feel like you want to enjoy the view, and we'll switch back to your camera view now and then if we can.
Great. Well, again, you can see the Clearwater behind me, getting that topsail up, that sunburst on the topsail, one of the signature marks of the Clearwater. It's on the Clearwater Crew t-shirts. We're sailing through as I mentioned earlier, the northern gate of the Highlands. And this is we're entering one of the deepest spots in the river. You know, the river was here before the Ice Age, but the Ice Age came down through this area like a router, just grinding out the bedrock. And when they were building the aqueduct that crosses the river here to bring water from the Catskill reservoirs down to New York City, they put a barge out in the middle of the water and started to drill down, figure out where the bedrock was, where they could put the tunnel. Well, they went down over 700 feet into the silt at the bottom of the river, the rock, all the broken up pieces that the glaciers had left behind, and they never hit bedrock. So the glaciers must have gouged this out to at least over 700 feet in its way south. And so this actually makes this portion of the Hudson a fjord. It's deeper than it is down at the Verrazano Bridge, where Clearwater will get to next week. And these steep slopes that you see at Breakneck Ridge and the Storm King and the deep waters off of these slopes are all indicative of this part of the Hudson really being like a fjord that you would see in Alaska or Norway. It's also some of the oldest rock in New York, over 1 billion years old. It goes back quite a ways. Now, that being said, the youngest rock on the Hudson is 200 million years old. So we don't have any really recent rock around here, just a lot of erosion. But this is one of the best places to see it, the work of water and ice over the millennia, cutting out this beautiful piece of the river here. Clearwater is coming up on Little Stony Point now on Sandy Beach. And behind that is another quarry. The rock along the river used to be quarried quite a bit. And there was a conveyor that brought it across Route 9D and over to Little Stony Point and loaded it on barges to go down to help build highways and other things in New York. That quarrying ended is another example of the success of the conservation movement in the early 1900s. Quarrying in the Hudson Highlands here was stopped to preserve the scenery of the highlands.
It's such a beautiful shot that that you and Aaron have up there, Steve. I'm getting news from the boat that the topsail is cleared, and I think they've gotten it set up, and they were going to talk with us a little bit about the salt front, if that's good with you.
That's great.
Okay, coming to you, Marilia.
Wonderful.
Great, thank you. Yeah, the topsail is flying high. It's kind of hard to see right now. Maybe on our next tech we'll raise the camera up. We're actually also working on getting our pennant up, so we're gonna have everything flying that we can, which is so cool. I just wanted to add that as an aside. Anna. Great. So we're gonna go back to Anna. We haven't talked a little bit about the salt front, but we're going to go to Anna, and Anna's gonna show us one thing that we do sometimes in our educational sails is we'll teach the students, well, we always teach the students about the estuary, but sometimes we'll do this fun salt wedge experiment that Anna is going to show us. So take it away, Anna, our education coordinator.
Hi. So what I have right here is called the salt wedge experiments. So as you can see, I actually still have some salt crystals down in this side of the compartment that dissolve. Fresh water, and then I put salt in this side of the compartment. And now what I'm going to do is food coloring to each side so we can kind of see the difference. And what this is going to simulate is sort of what happens in the Hudson River estuary when you have that salt water coming up from the ocean meeting the fresh water that is coming down from the Adirondacks. So this side is representing, the red is sort of representing our fresh water, and the blue is going to represent our salt water. So Ace, do you want to help me with this experiment? Sure. So what do you think is going to happen when we pull this out of here and the salt water meets the fresh water? Do you have any guesses about what might happen? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to turn purple immediately, or do you think?
I think it's gonna. They're gonna. These sides are gonna mix first, and then these are gonna mix after.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to have you grab right here, and you're going to pull it out as fast as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Whoa!
Good job.
Whoa!
What it's doing? Oh, the blue is the salty, and it kind of wedges underneath the red. It's because salt water is more dense than fresh water. So that's why if you are in like really salty water, you tend to float more because the water is going to be more dense than if you're floating in fresh water. So eventually this will all kind of blend to purple, but this sort of stimulates what happens. When the water comes in from the ocean, it sort of wedges underneath that fresh
Oh, Anna, we're
spirals in the water that spiraled around there. So is where the salt front is in the Hudson River. So yeah, salt wherever they meet in the Hudson River. So we're just testing the salinity salinity of the water. We found that it was still pretty fresh. Going to be farther north this year than it has been.
So we're gonna switch over to Eli for just a minute to talk a little bit about Clearwater's Ed programs. We're losing the connection from the deck of the sloop, and so Eli is going to talk with us a little bit about Clearwater's education programs and the impact of those programs over the years. All to you, Eli.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Sloop.
Yeah, we're gonna
I'm here at Little Stony Point. Yep, my name is Eli. I work in the education department. Let me spin around, see if we can get any bit of the Clearwater. Kind of probably backlit a little bit. But for me, you're seeing the sun coming through the sails, and it's just a beautiful sight. And it just reminds me, you know, how important our education programs are. I'm down here at Little Stony Point. We got some swimmers. We got some recreation going on. And, you know, our job as educators is really to connect people to the river. If we can connect them to the river, then they're going to care about the river. And if they care about the river, they're going to enjoy the river. And if they enjoy the river, they're going to love the river. And if they love the river, they're going to protect the river. And so that's what our education programs are all about. So we work traditionally, last year we worked with over 10,000 people, whether it was on the Sloop Clearwater, whether it was in classrooms, whether it was in the Tideline program, which happens on the shores of the Hudson River. And it's just an amazing program because we can connect people with the river in so many different ways. Many of you know that Clearwater always has a focus on music. So music is a great way to deliver a message that people can listen to and hear and understand. And we do aquatic invertebrates, right? So maybe some student is really into bugs, and so that's their connection to the Hudson River. Maybe a student is into chemistry and science, and so we do water quality testing on the boat and on the shores to find out what the water quality is. And as I said, we got some great, awesome swimmers here, right? And they are swimming in water that, you know what? 30, 40, 50 years ago, nobody would swim in, right? So the water quality in the Hudson River has improved tremendously. Now, I swim in the river all summer long. It's totally safe, but there are still pollution concerns. So Clearwater, Tideline programs, classroom visits, virtual classroom visits, all of these are incredibly important to connect people to the Hudson River. And once they are connected, they're going to care. And then once they care, they're going to contribute, right? We need people to take action for the Hudson River. So find yourself along that continuum somewhere. Figure out if you need to learn, if you need to connect, if you need to care. And if you care, you should contribute. So when I say contribute, I just mean be active. I mean, be out there, fight for the Hudson River. So I think that was about 3 minutes, Eric. I've been wanting to say this all my life. So this is Eli reporting from Little Stony Point. Back to you, Eric, in the studio.
Thanks, Eli. So we are, the sloop is working out some connection issues on deck, and I'm going to give you some more shots from over up on Storm King Mountain, and then share a little song that was sent to us by some friends of Clearwater to share during the sail. So let's have a look at that view up on Storm King, and then we'll hear a little bit of music in just a sec. Aaron, can you unmute your camera?
Hello, I'm unmuted.
Is he there?
They're on the boat.
Can I see him here?
There's over there, somebody on the boat, and then somebody way down there, and we're all.
It's an incredible view up there, Aaron. So I am going to share a song that was sent in to us by some friends of ours, Chris Bowser with DEC and Ashana Abbott with Green Chimneys. Let's see if we can make this work, and then we'll head back to the sloop. Just a second.
What's Up by Four Non Blondes.
Give it up for Chris Bowser and Ashana Abbott. That was beautiful. So we're going to head back to the boat now and see how things are going over there. And then we'll hear from another special guest out of town. Marilia, can you hear us?
Okay, so I'm here with one of our crew members, Brad. Hi, Brad. How are you?
How are you?
So, how did you get on the boat?
It's something I've wanted time. I happen to have some time right now. COVID things coming to pause, so finish this, where I used to live
How did you hear about this?
Oh gosh, being on the water in Clearwater. That's
So how have you been feeling about our journey?
oh, it's
It is definitely the journey
Yeah.
of a life.
came aboard to like look at the slowly.
Exactly
Yeah,
what we're
that's
doing.
exactly what
That
we're
is
doing.
exactly. And Brett, you've been helping out with our valley
True,
too,
true, true.
right? Just talk a little bit about how just it's going in general. You
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah,
give
yeah.
any
So I think very shortly we'll be rolling out some interviews. Self that will make contributions to the broader community. And so I was down in New York, are working on honor issues. Interviews. Everyone will get to see them very soon.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Brad. That's just one of our great, awesome, amazing. I don't even know. I don't have enough.
Shucks.
I don't have enough adjectives to describe this sloop crew. We're just everyone is just so, yeah, you. Everyone is just so great. So that's one of our crew interviews here. Our topsail is, we are going to someone next. I am on the boat and we're just, take it away.
Thanks, Marilia. Glad the topsail and everything got sorted out. And thanks, Brad. So we're going to head now to longtime friend of Clearwater, Brian Forrest, who's joining us from out of state. Brian, can you introduce yourself for the folks at home?
Sure. You have my sound?
I do.
Wonderful. Hi, folks. My name is Brian Forrest. I'm standing here in a very different landscape than we've been looking at and talking about. I'm on the south end of Lake Michigan in the Indiana Dunes. It was kind of neat hearing our friend and my mentor, Steve Stan, talking about the rocks in the Hudson Valley that are millions of years old. I'm standing on a landscape right now that is no more than 18,000 years old. And you'd have to go a good 30 miles or more to find bedrock anywhere near here, because we're in a post-glacial landscape. It's all sand from here for a number of miles to the south. I worked on the Clearwater for a number of years. Actually, 35 years ago this year, I began a 6-year stint as an onboard educator. And you know, during those years that I was on board, I learned a lot. I met people that are lifelong friends, and that brackish water of the Hudson River runs in my veins. You know, it's kind of neat. Of course, I know and learned a lot about the Hudson River ecosystem. As I've been standing here in the dunes, I've noticed some really neat things just this evening. Maybe 50 yards from where I'm standing, there's a beautiful patch of common milkweed. It's the first I've seen blooming here. And I saw my first monarch butterfly this evening. And just a couple feet from me, I noticed some eggs. It looks like it's the nest of a box turtle. And hopefully the turtles are happy and the raccoons didn't get them. But anyway, during my years with Clearwater and all the years since that I have remained involved, last time that I saw the boat was a year ago at the Great Hudson River Revival in 2019, the 50th anniversary. And the year before, I was on board for a little while, helping with the Queerwater program, one of the LGBTQ young adults at the helm program. But throughout all those years, 35 years of a relationship with this organization and with the boat, I recall many times that people have said, you know, what is Clearwater's greatest success? Of course, we want to think it's things like suing the U.S. Navy and cleaning the PCBs out of the Hudson, which are significant, as is our involvement in the passage of the Clean Water Act. But it's really what the sloop is doing this evening and what I've been watching it do over the last month or so. And that is, it is a symbol. It's a symbol to people in the Hudson Valley that there's something about that river that is special, and that there's an effort to make sure it's clean and healthy. And that symbol is not just in the Hudson Valley, but it's a symbol across the world. And I'm just really pleased to see the sloop sailing, the wonderful education offerings that are going on, and people virtually now can really come to understand how special the boat is, the organization, and can see that symbol. So that's what I take away from my beautiful evening here along the shore of Lake Michigan.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's great to see you and look forward to talking to you soon, and glad you could come sailing with us tonight.
Oh boy, it's a great time to be sailing. Thanks so much.
See you soon.
Yep.
Probably. What time is it now?
It's about 20.
Hey, Mary, we're back to y'all.
Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary. I'm the engineer on board the Clearwater. I've been crew for a while. And I would like to invite you all to join with us in our moment of silence. It's a tradition here on the Clearwater. Every time we go out sailing, I like to take a moment to just appreciate where we're at. I'm really excited to take a moment to appreciate where we're at because we're in my favorite stretch of river today. So I'll start our silence with the ringing of a bell, and you all will be well aware when it's over. The story of a land, great spirits blessed, and the people follow the legend from the great waters in the west. And they stopped where they found that the fishing was good, where it was strong, ran in the wood. I would be happy just spending my days on the river that flows away. First came the trappers, next came the traders, their own fortunes fortified, and the valley treated them kindly. So the farmers followed close behind, and the sail were laid at the battery, with flowers from Yonkers, first from Albany. I would be happy to spending my days on the river that flows away. Brighter than nature, showed its beauty in its waters and on the shore. Why musicians sing its praises, people like the river's wall. The sun setting golden
all day. It's a song that broke off the island at the break of a brand new day. Apple cider and pumpkins, strawberries and corn make the people of the river so glad they were born. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways. I could be happy just spending my days on the river that flows both ways.
That was beautiful. We're gonna check out a few shots of the river for a bit. Y'all can make yourselves comfortable. Maybe we can hear another little song in a bit. So next up in our program, we're going to head to Cold Spring, where the director of Randolph School is joining us there in Cold Spring. I don't know, Josh, if you all can see us yet. You can see the sloop yet, but we're headed your way.
Hey, everyone. We can see the sloop coming up right behind us, and we've been waiting for a while because it's super exciting to see that boat out on the water. And I'm here with my whole family.
Hi.
Hey there. And one of the reasons why it's so exciting for us is because, well, when you think about why this boat is here, it came at a time where there was someone who was looking at a big problem that existed in our world and in our immediate world right here at home, and went to all sorts of places and all sorts of people for a solution. And when that solution wasn't coming from folks in the bigger world, the solution came from the smaller one. And as a result, now my kids and my family gets to enjoy our life here near the river. And it reminds us at a time when we're looking for solutions that the solutions exist in our smaller world. And we're really, really, really grateful for the ways in which I personally have learned about the river from my experiences as a student, but also as an educator with the Clearwater. When I worked in New York City, I got to see this boat that's coming right up here behind me, all the way down into Manhattan. And that experience goes 53 miles from Hudson River, mile 53 right here, all the way down. And I'm extremely grateful that, especially, like I said, at a time when our world feels like there's nothing certain in it, that sloop is still sailing up and down the river behind us.
Thank you so much, Josh. That's a beautiful spot. And it's really exciting that you all were able to come down to the river tonight during bedtime to enjoy the scenery and enjoy the sloop.
There's nothing more important than the work you guys are doing over at the Clearwater. So thanks so much. And we look forward to sailing with you soon.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Take care.
So you too. See you soon. So we're going to head to back over to Storm King Mountain with Aaron Macharoli.
It's Macharoli. You always sound so tentative when you say my last.
I never know how to pronounce it. Sorry.
Macharoli. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in to enjoy this beautiful sunset sail with us. As you know, normally we would be out sailing with passengers, but we're doing everything virtually these days. So we're a membership-based organization, and I wanted to remind everybody that they can become a member of Clearwater and go over to clearwater.org and make a donation to support our work on the river. Allow us to keep working and keep sailing, and you know, this river needs this boat, and we've made it 51 years now with the support of a lot of people that are watching. So thank you, and thank you for your continued support. Back to Cold Spring.
We're gonna head to the sloop now, if they'll have us. Marilia, we're coming your way.
We love. Paradise tugboat. Tugboat pushing that barge along, whistle blowing that sweet river song. Smokestacks black as a Hudson night, tugboat pushing that barge out of sight. When I was a young one, I lived in Saugerties. When I was in the lighthouse, whenever I please, fish and birds and cars and trees. Even as a young one, I knew I'd never leave. Tugboat pushing that barge along, whistle blowing that sweet river song. Smokestacks black as a Hudson night, tugboat pushing that barge out of sight. Your town, just bring it back down. Blood and sweat and tears, over the river out of New York town. Tugboat pushing that barge along, whistle blowing that sweet river song. Smokestacks black as a Hudson night, tugboat that barge out of sight. Going up the river at a captain, past Sleepy Hollow all the way to Albany. Great train running on the Hudson River line, big good friend of mine. Tugboat pushing that barge along, so blowing that river song. Smokestacks black as a Hudson night, tugboat pushing that barge out of sight.
Down in the west.
Working on the river, working on the river, I'll be good before and I know the river like the back of my hand. We're a Hudson River band. Tugboat pushing that barge along, whistle blow that sweet river song. Smokestacks black as a Hudson night, tugboat pushing that barge outside. Ice tugboat.
A beautiful song from a wonderful group of folks. So if you're just joining us, right now the Clearwater crew are in the middle of a downriver transit. headed all the way down to the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. They started up in Albany on Monday and are undergoing a whole digital storytelling project as part of our River Connects Us project. So every single day over the next couple weeks, the crew is live streaming videos from the sloop. You can tune in and check out educational lessons and little snippets of boat life and join more sails like this as the sloop journeys down the river. And the Our River Connects Us project is really all about reinvigorating the sloop and using it for one of the things that, you know, Brian Forrest mentioned, that it's always done best, which is, you know, being a symbol of hope for the future and for the Hudson River. So as part of this project, we're also connecting with community members and folks involved with various organizations impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and organizations doing great work here in the Hudson Valley. And we're recording interviews and looking forward to a whole ongoing project of streaming those interviews and sharing those stories about passionate and wonderful people in the Hudson Valley. So a lot to look forward to with that project. I'm going to head back to the boat now and check in with folks and see what their plan is for the rest of the sail. We're going to be wrapping it up pretty soon. So enjoy the scenery and stick with us.
You want me to talk right? Or... Okay. Thank you so much for joining us on this. Technical difficulties. Good. Very good. Thank you so much for joining us on this public sail that we had in the beautiful Hudson Highlands. I'm here with Captain. We just want to thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, clearwater.org/ORCU, Our River Connects Us, so you can see all of our content there. You can track the sloop as we head downriver. I think Captain have a little.
I just wanted to thank everybody for coming aboard and keep tracking us as we're heading down the river. We've had 2 really good days of sailing. We're sailing now and despite the light winds, and we're going to keep trying to sail as much as we can and transit all the way down the river under sail as much. And it's pretty exciting for all you folks that are used to 3-hour ed sails where we leave and come back to the same dock. This experience is really special, and I wish a lot of you guys could be here with us, but I hope we can give you the experience virtually as best as possible. And we're definitely thinking about all the people that have contributed to this festival over all the years, and all the school groups that we wish we could take out, and all the staff that works really hard, and the really supportive community that we have that has allowed us to make all this happen and get this boat sailing during these times. And we just really hope to give back to the communities along the river. And thank you for coming aboard.
So this one time we were working up on a big project up there in winter maintenance, and Tiga came by to say hi, and we were out in the barge, and he just kind of looked up and amazed by the whole project, and they had to go. And as we were walking out, they said, looking back at all of us working on the boat, they said, all of you are my hero. So that's what I'd like to say to you guys tonight. All of you are my heroes. So you're my hero if you like us. You're my hero if you share us, share our story. That makes you my hero. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. So we're gonna cycle through the scenery one more time, and all of you camera folks who are out there, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of the people who are who are joining us tonight to help us stream this experience for you all. In addition to the crew, we have members of staff scattered at different amazing locations, watching the sunset and enjoying the view of the sloop sailing through the Highlands. And we have long-term friends of the organization. So for all of you who have a good view of the scenery right now, if you unmute yourself, I'll be able to cycle through and share that view with everybody else. Maybe starting with you, Eli.
I got it, I did.
Thank you for tuning in. The Clearwater just got south of the point. It just went around the corner there. But here we go. Let's look over at Storm King. Look at that light.
Laying in the head rig. Nick. Can you tell Nick it's on?
Once again, thanks everybody for joining us for the sail this evening. You can follow along with the rest of the journey at clearwater.org/ORCU. Our River Connects Us. And there's actually a really neat tool on there where you can go and track the sloop. There's a map where you can track where the sloop is in real time, which is a lot of fun if you're at your desk or at home and just feeling nostalgic for the river and missing the boat. So definitely check those out. To close things out, I'm going to play a song that was shared to us by a longtime friend of the organization who lives in Cold Spring, Andrew Revkin, who's, for folks who aren't aware, known for award-winning journalism. And we look forward to sharing this song with you. Oh, we got you back. Sorry, folks, we had a little technical difficulties there, but sounds like the sloop would like to say one last goodbye, and then we're gonna have a little outro with music from our friend Andy Revkin and the members of Breakneck Ridge Review. So headed to you, Marilia, one last time for some final goodbyes.
to the Bear Mountain Bridge and all that lies between. In autumn's gold and winter's snows and spring and summer's green. I came from old New England's shores. I miss those salty tides. My friends from Rocky Mountain, they crave their starry skies. Some flock to California town, where sunsets glow like hail. But it's Hudson River, banks and hills that make my soul set sail. From Breakneck Ridge to the Bear Mountain Bridge, and all that lies between. In autumn's gold and winter's snows, and spring and summer's green. A billion years of time and toil are etched in these old hills, carved by ice and dynamite, but they stand firm here still. Seen tomahawks and cannon fire and mighty industries, but these Hudson Highlands will endure when we are history. From Breakneck Ridge to the Bear Mountain Bridge, and all that lies between. In autumn's gold and winter's snows, and spring and summer's green. From Breakneck Ridge to the Bear Mountain Bridge, and all that lies between. In autumn's gold and winter's snows, and spring and summer's green. I've been around this whole wide world. I've been up toward the pole. But when I'm gone, please let me lie in Hudson Valley soil. From Breakneck Ridge to the Bear Mountain Bridge, and all that lies between. In autumn's gold and winter's snows, and spring and summer's green. In autumn's gold and winter's snows, and spring and summer's green.